Good day and welcome to our Excel class. This is Go Getter Excel. And today we are looking at lookup functions. The last time we looked at VLOOKUP functions and we saw that VLOOKUP has certain weaknesses that make us ineffective or inefficient. First of all, VLOOKUP, the keyword to look for must be on the leftmost part of your raw data. If it is anywhere else, you will get an NA error. Then secondly, the column index number has to be changed every time you copy the formula to a different column or to a different cell. So that's not efficient. And so we have to use a more efficient, better formula to VLOOKUP, which is called the index and match. Now, index and match are two different functions, but they work well together when we're doing lookups. So how does index work? Let's watch. Now, I have index. Index will return a value or reference of the cell at the intersection of a particular row and column in a given range. So if I were to say, I open the bracket here and I say, where is my array? My index array. Now this array or reference I'm looking for must be in your raw data. And so I can decide to copy everything down here. This is my table array in my raw data. Remember when we were doing VLOOKUP, we didn't even copy the serial number column. But now we are copying everything. This is our array or reference. Now I'm going to lock it. FN F4 once. Fine. All right, so this is what we are telling Excel here is that using the index, we are looking for everything in this selected raw data. All right, I'm going to go to the next argument, which is the row number. Now, I'm looking for Apple inside this data. Which row number gives me Apple when selected from this? It should give me 1, 2. So it should give me row number 2. So if I were to write row number 2, then if I were to go to the next argument, column number. Which column am I looking for? Quantity. Now, quantity, this is the first column, this is the second column. Quantity is the third column. If I were to write 3 here, then I close the brackets and I hit enter, I get my desired answer. But is this not like VLOOKUP? And now the problem here is instead of having to change one item, if I go from one column to the other or one row to the other, I'll be changing 2. This is not efficient. And so there must be a way for us to automatically produce 2 and automatically produce 3. Now that is where the match comes in. So let's use the match function to remove 2. Yes, 2 is the relative row position. 3 is the relative column position. But let's use match to replace it. So let's start with the 2. I will use a match. Match. Now match returns the relative position of an item in an array that matches a specified value in a specific order. So instead of writing just 2, I will use the match function and look at how it works. Open a bracket. The match function will ask you for coming. Match function will ask you for the lookup value. Our lookup value here is apple. Now, this is the apple I'm looking for. All right. So I'm going to lock the column. So let's lock it. The column is locked. All right. Comma, lookup array. Now, this is the table that you are looking it from. You know, the index has highlighted everything. So when you're not using match, you don't need to highlight everything. Just highlight the column that contains what you are looking for. So I will just highlight this and I'll lock it. All right. So this is my lookup array and my match type. I want to use an exact match, 0. All right. So that concludes the first one. Then the second one here, previously there was a 3. There was a 3 here. Yes. That was the column index number. We'll use another match to do that. So we'll start again. Match. Open the bracket. What am I looking for? I said before I was looking for column. This column I'm looking for is quantity here, M8. But I will lock the row and free the column. So M8, the column is freed, the row is locked. Comma. Now, where can I find it? Look up array. I'll go here, 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 here. That's it. Absolute referencing, it's done. The next argument is to tell me to use the exact match. I've closed the bracket. Now I'm going to close the bracket again to close the index bracket. So when we do this and we hit the enter button, it gives us the right answer. So let's examine what we've done. The index tells us which array or reference are we looking for. The whole of the raw data. That is our reference. The whole of the raw data. Then, which row number are we interested in? We're interested in row number 2 here for Apple. But we will not just say row number 2. We use the match function to get that. Which column are you interested? This is column number 3, but we will not just write 3, but we'll use the match function to get that. And when we did that, it gives us the answer. Now, the interesting thing is when I move, it gives me the right answer. I don't need to change anything. I move, it gives me the right answer. I move to the end here, the right answers are gotten, and I move down. We are efficient. So you see here, I can only just come down here now and copy this and highlight where I want to use them. Control Alt V for the paste special dialog box, and I'll paste formats. Okay, that's it. Life is good. Now, you can see here that our index and match function is better than our VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP leftmost part of the raw data, that is where you must see your search. Secondly, you must change the column index number every time you move. But if you look at the index and match, we were looking for Apple, but Apple was not the leftmost part of our data, and we got it. And we did not at each time start changing the column index number because our match function used twice had taken care of the row and the column. So what index does is I'm looking for a number. I'm looking for a content. Then match will ask, which row will I find, will I put this content? Which row are you looking for in your in your raw data? So that I will search for that row and bring the appropriate content. Then the second match will say, okay, which column in your raw data will I search to bring the appropriate content that you are looking for? And so when the row and the column intersect, match and index has combined to bring the appropriate content for your pleasure. So this is the match, index and match. But you will find out that the index and match, while it is effective, also has its weakness. We are using three functions here. We're even using two functions, but we're using one twice. So you need to do index, you need to do match and match to get what you want. So there should be a way we could use just formula, one function to get everything done. So that's where we use another function that is far better than index and match and VLOOKUP. But before we leave the index and match, know that VLOOKUP and index and match can be used for all versions of Excel. So feel free to use them, even though they have some weaknesses. Feel free to use them, especially index and match. Thank you so much for coming to class and for listening. If you like this video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and watch and comment, like our videos, and tell us about it. Thank you so much and see you in the next class.